Okay, yeah, Paul the Pipe Guy here. And so a few of you may have questions on what is the ghost in a pipe and how do you deghost a pipe? Well, when you buy a vintage pipe, all right, you don't know what's been smoked in it. So when you buy a vintage pipe, the first thing that you do is ream it out. You can buy a cheap set of reamers, all right? You got to go gentle with these. And so what I always do is I always ream the pipe out first, get any of the carbon buildup out. I take it down to bare wood. These come and you can buy them on Amazon for about 20 bucks or just use the trusty old jackknife. I mean, I've used this jackknife to ream the carbon out. You be careful not to gouge out the top of the pipe or anything. You just want to get the carbon out, and you just keep turning it like that. Get all that carbon buildup out. Make sure that you get all the way down inside the bowl. All right. And you want to do that because there's going to be things in that carbon that are going to taste bad. So the ghost basically is whoever owned that pipe 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years ago smoked all kinds of different blends. The tar and oils from the tobacco have soaked into the briar. You can ream them out, ream the carbon out, and you'll still smoke the tobacco and many times get what they call a sour taste or a bitter taste. It just tastes bad. So you want to get those oils and any of the tars that have soaked into the briar out. And here's how you do it. You're going to need a few things, okay? First thing you're going to need is you're going to need Morton kosher coarse salt. Morton coarse kosher salt. Only use this salt. If you use any other salt, table salt, you're going to explode your bowl. All right, it's just going to expand too much. Second thing you're going to need is you're going to need Everclear. It's 190 proof, 95% alcohol. You can get that at any liquor store. Or if you're from the South and you get a hold of some real good high octane moonshine that doesn't have cinnamon or anything that's going to taste, you can use that. Third thing that you're going to need some plastic wrap, saran wrap, yeah. And the fourth thing that you're going to need is an old pipe cleaner. So basically, and the fifth thing that I have is a syringe, all right? This syringe, basically, I'll very carefully pour the Everclear into the cap of the Everclear, suck it up with this syringe. It just makes it so much easier. So what I do, once you have all those things, what I do is I obviously ream the pipe out real good, down to bare wood. I take a piece of saran wrap, plastic wrap, and you keep folding it and folding it. You're going to need, the type of size you're going to need is going to depend on how big the hole is in the bowl. And then you take your old pipe cleaner, you bend her in half, and you wrap that saran wrap cube around there. Now the important thing is that you've got a good seal on this pipe, so this alcohol is not going to leak out. Because if it leaks out, any of this high octane alcohol you get on your pipe is going to take the entire finish off. All right, and I always test it by blowing in the bowl. See if it's got any air leaks. We're going to push this in just a little bit more. Okay, there we go. So now we're ready to go. That's plugged up. Nothing's going to run through. I always like to take just a tiny little squirt like that so that it goes down inside the pipe. Yeah, which that has. And also I can check to see if there's any leaks, which we have none. Next thing I do is I take our Morton salt, do this over the sink because it can be messy if you overfill it. And we're going to take that. Come on, baby. Very carefully fill her up. Try not to, like, all of a sudden have a whole bunch come out. Come on, sweetheart. There we go. Okay, now, I do not overfill my pipes. I leave just a little head space. You can see there's just a tiny little bit, okay, because it's just a tiny little bit below the top of the crown of the bowl. All right, I give her a little tap like that. She settles down because I don't want anything to run over. It's going to take the finish and stain right off your pipe. Next thing we do is we take this. Also, an eyedropper will work. Okay. And now. Okay, that is the first squirt that I'm doing. What's happening is the briar is soaking up all of this high test alcohol. There again, be careful not to overfill it and spill it over the edge. All right, so she's full. All right. Now you may ask, all right, how am I going to stand this thing up without it spilling over? An egg carton will work. But I use, I've just got like a little masking tape thing here. And I just kind of set her in there like so. And yeah, that's all you need. See, I spilled her over and I got alcohol on the outside. So I'm going to quickly wipe that off. Trying to do this for video purposes. Normally I have the pipe already sitting. So you guys got the idea. So basically then what you do is you let it sit for 24 hours. Get it to stand as straight up as you can. 24 hours. Then you're going to find it's going to look something like that. All of that tar, all of that crap's coming to the surface. And then basically you just take your little poker tool, your tamper, whatever, scrape that out, tap it out in the garbage, and then you rinse it all out, the whole entire system you rinse out with water. That's not going to hurt your pipe at all. Take a pipe cleaner, make sure you got all that salt out there, and then rinse it right out really good, and then you let it dry for 24 hours. Sometimes if you try to put that stem back in, all right, you can crack the shank because that alcohol has expanded the briar. Anyways, that's my take on how I deghost pipe, and it works out great for me. I've never had one failure at all. If you do have a failure, do it a second time, and that'll get rid of it. Trust me, I'm Paul the Pipe Guy, over and out.